Okay, in this video, we'll be going over Chapter 9, Review. Question number 1, how was the observation of the sky important to the survival of First Nations and Métis people? It was very important for the First Nations Métis people to be able to observe the star patterns for navigation, especially in winter evenings. They also observed the sky for signs of changing seasons and used the sky to determine when to hold special ceremonies. 2, are the constellations the same when viewed from all locations on Earth and at all times? Explain your answer. No, because Earth is tilted and it orbits the sun. Different places on Earth do not see the same night sky. There are some patterns of stars that are only visible in the northern or southern hemisphere. Question number 3, what is the difference between a celestial body and an astronomical body? And both astronomical bodies and celestial bodies refer to objects in space. A celestial body is viewed from Earth, while an astronomical body is any object in the universe. Question 4, what is the relationship between an equinox and a solstice? A solstice occurs twice a year, on the day a hemisphere receives the most or least winter amount of sunlight. The equinox is vernal and autumnal, occur between the solstices and have equal amounts of sunlight and darkness on those days. So for our equinox, we have the spring and fall equinoxes. And then for the solstices, we have the summer solstice and the winter solstice. Question number 5, how do scientists use the term declination, right ascension, altitude, and azimuth? They use those to determine the location of objects in the sky. Altitude and azimuth describe coordinates on the celestial sphere. Right ascension and declination are also coordinates on the celestial sphere, but are similar to longitude and latitude. Question number 6, what is the difference between the revolution and a rotation of a planet? The revolution of a planet refers to the planet's orbit around the sun. A rotation refers to one complete spin of an object, or the planet's rotation on its axis. So a revolution would be a year, a rotation would be a day. Number 7, describe what is meant when we say that a moon is a satellite. A satellite is any object that orbits a planet. The moon orbits the Earth, so we refer to it as a natural satellite. The satellites we launch into space would be considered an artificial satellite. 8. What causes the changing phases of the moon? The phases of the moon are caused by the moon's revolution or orbit around Earth, and how our view from Earth changes during that revolution. B, how many main phases of the moon are there? There are 8 main phases of the moon: new moon, waxing crescent, first quarter, waxing gibbons, full, waning gibbons, last quarter, and waning crescent. Question number 9, what are the causes of eclipses? The eclipses are caused by an alignment of the Earth, the Sun, and the Moon, so that a partial shadow of Earth is cast on the Moon, so a lunar eclipse, or a partial or total shadow of the Moon is cast upon Earth, which is a solar eclipse. 10. So, name the process occurring in the core of the sun that gives it its ability to shine. The sun gets its energy and ability to shine from nuclear energy reactions occurring at its core. Number 11. Solar prominences are huge arcs and often form complete loops on the surface of the sun. Explain why. A solar prominence is an ejection of particles from the sun or electrically charged plasma. So it goes up from the sun's surface, goes around and loops back, back to the surface due to the sun's magnetic field. Number 12. what is the solar system? The solar system is the sun or a star in which planets or other celestial bodies such as moons, comets, asteroids are held by the sun's gravity and orbit around the sun. 13. Briefly explain what an astronomical unit and a light year are, and how are these units of measure, or how are these units of measure used? So, an astronomical unit is the average distance from the Earth to the Sun. Um, that, if I remember right, is about 9 quadrillion kilometers. A light year is the distance that light would travel in 1 year. So, astronomical units are used to measure distances within our solar system. Light years are used to measure distances outside of our solar system. 14. How have scientific astronomers used asteroids to estimate the age of their solar system? So, this is another one where you're going to have to use your filter, but according to some scientists, they believe it is 4.56 billion years old. But yeah, I've talked to some of my scientist friends about this one who are also people of faith, and they simply said it's really the dating of rocks like that simply falls into a lot of the work that Einstein did. That when the creation of the universe happened so quickly, God was creating everything so fast that when uh, things are moving that fast, time is shaped differently. Like, I wish I could give you a better explanation for it. I'm not a very big expert on Einstein's theory of relativity and time, but I wish I could have my friend here to give you guys a much better answer on that. It's a very acceptable belief based on Christian theory, the way he described it. So, but definitely not that old. Number 15. What are dwarf planets? How are they different from protoplanets? Okay, dwarf planets are an astronomical body that orbits the sun, and it's in an unusual orbit and in areas where there are many different objects. A protoplanet is a smaller uh, body than a dwarf planet. 16. Why are comets of such interest to astronomers? Astronomers are interested in comets because they believe that the ice that surrounds comets may play a role in the creation of Earth's oceans and atmospheres. Comets contain compounds or molecules from the same nebula that form the planets, which may give clues about the building blocks of life. Scientists track comets due to the possibility of their collision with Earth, which is pretty scary. If you want to watch some good movies based on that silly sci fiction, you can watch Armageddon or Deep Impact. Okay, 17. Compare and contrast meteors and meteorites. So, meteors are meteoroids that have entered Earth's atmosphere. If a meteor does not burn up in Earth's atmosphere, and all or parts of it hit the surface, those parts of the meteor that are on the surface are considered meteorites.